Very good afternoon and welcome to Europe News presented by Desi in Europe. These are the headlines for today. More than 1,000 people are dead in earthquake in Afghanistan. French President Macron rejects PM resignation. Russia issues a warning to Lithuania over the effects of rail transit blockage. Finland, Sweden and Turkey have talks at NATO. Russia's property is taken by Germany because of sanctions. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson arrived in Ukraine for the second time after the war. And the topic of discussion today, what will be the future of Julian Assange of Wikileaks? Let's go through the details of this news. More than 1,000 people are dead in earthquake in Afghanistan. So a magnitude of 6.1 earthquake that shook isolated areas of southeast Afghanistan has left almost 1,000 people dead and 600 injured. According to the United Nations, 130 injured persons have been taken to the hospitals. Authorities claim hundreds of homes have been destroyed in the undeveloped region. Pope Francis prays for the victims of earthquake in Afghanistan. As Afghanistan coped with the after effects of the today's catastrophic earthquake, Pope Francis has pleaded for international assistance. Other news from the France. French President Macron rejects PM resignation. President Emmanuel Macron, who was re-elected just 2 months ago, has suffered a significant defeat as a result of Sunday's legislative elections in France. Now that the nation's chief of state lacks an absolute majority, carrying out his plan will be that much more challenging. The prime minister he appointed offered to quit, but French President Emmanuel Macron rejected the idea, stating that the cabinet must remain on track and act. After Mr. Macron's alliance lost the majority on Sunday, the Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne received criticism from several observers. After the outcome, her future appeared to be in jeopardy, forcing the president to enlist the help of opponents. On Tuesday, he will have a rare meeting with his political rivals. The centrist government of Mr. Macron, which is 44 seats short of a majority, and frantically attempting to avoid political stagnation. Either Marine Le Pen's far-right or Jean-Luc Mélenchon's left-green coalition does not seem eager to work with Macron's government. Following parliamentary elections, it is traditional for the French Prime Minister to submit his resignation. In order to start building a new government, the president frequently appoints the same person again. At the time, however, things are different since Mr. Macron has instructed Ms. Borne to keep her position in the same government rather than retiring. Analysts predict that the move is likely an attempt to buy time, adding that eventually a new administration will be established, which may or may not led by Ms. Borne. The unusual situation is a risk to our country faced with issues at the national level as well as at the international scale, Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne stated. Borne, who was just appointed in May, will face a motion of censure from the opposition in early July. And even though she barely won her own consistency, her status is not certain. Now that there are two hostile opposition groupings in National Assembly, Emmanuel Macron must work with a coalition partner to pass crucial reforms, such as those affecting pensions, tax cuts, and retirement age. Another news from Russia-Lithuania conflicts. Russia issues a warning to Lithuania over the effects of rail transit blockage. After Lithuania prohibited the rail transfer of some products to the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad, Russia threatened Lithuania with severe repercussions. Senior security officer Nikolai Patrushev stated that Russia would undoubtedly retaliate to such aggressive measures. As a result of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, Lithuania claims it is just adhering to sanctions imposed by EU. There is no geographical boundary between the strategically important area of Kaliningrad and the Russian mainland. Lithuania and Poland, both members of EU and NATO, border the western area which was acquired from Germany in 1945 following World War II. The region, which is home to an estimated million people, is primarily reliant on imports of raw material and replacement parts from the EU and Russia. The foreign minister of Lithuania, Gabrielius Landsbergis, said Lithuania is not taking any action. Rather, European penalties began to take effect on June 17th. The European Commission was consulted and it was carried out in accordance with its directives. The EU has backed Lithuania's claim and it merely enforcing sanctions that were put in place as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Coal, metals, building supplies, and the cutting-edge technology are all on the sanctions list. The other news related to the Finland and Sweden joining NATO. So Finland, Sweden, and Turkey have talks at NATO. On Monday, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, will convene talks between Finland, Sweden, and Turkey in Brussels with the goal of resolving the impasse produced by Turkey's resistance to Finland and Sweden's membership. The office of the Finnish president announced on Twitter on Sunday that NATO would conduct a formal discussion with Finland, Sweden, and Turkey on Monday in Brussels. It is reported that there shouldn't be any impediments to us joining, and added that majority of NATO countries wanted the Turkey problem fixed by a summit in Madrid, which is slated to take place at the end of this month. Earlier on Friday, according to news outlets AFP, APDPA, and Reuters, Turkey's foreign minister Mevlut Cavusoglu said Ankara will raise its objection to Finland and Sweden joining NATO at discussion in Brussels on Sunday. We judge these documents to be insufficient and provided our document in response saying negotiations can continue through this, according to foreign minister. They sent a document one that could be signed in a trilateral approach. News from Germany. Russia's property is taken by Germany because of sanctions. The public prosecutor in the southern Bavarian city of Munich stated on Monday that German police had confiscated 3 private homes and a bank account that belonged to a sanctioned member of the Russian Duma parliament and his wife, according to news outlets DPA and AFP. This is the first instance in Germany where genuine real estate has been taken in addition to assets that have been frozen as a result of sanctions, according to senior prosecutor Annie Leading. Another news, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson arrived in Ukraine for the second time after the war. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has met President Zelensky in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. Johnson tweeted a photo with Zelensky on Friday and wrote, President Zelensky, nice to be back in Kyiv. Johnson is one of the biggest supporters of Ukraine's struggle against Russian aggression. Britain is also helping Ukraine a lot in the form of military and humanitarian aid. Finally, the topic of discussion today, what will be the future of Julian Assange of Wikileaks? The extradition of Wikileaks founder Julian Assange to the US was approved by the UK government on Friday. Assange is charged with releasing sensitive information on the US wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. They will have to appear before the court in these matters as a result. The extradition request for 50-year-old Australian citizen Assange was signed by Interior Minister Priti Patel, according to the British Interior Ministry, for breaking US confidentiality and jeopardizing the security of nation. Assange may also receive a life term. The US court will, however, reserve judgment until both parties' arguments have been heard. A crucial turning point in Assange protected court battle will come in the next 14 days if he wants to escape being deported to the US. Assange still has time to challenge the decision. He has 14 days to do so. Another round of legal disputes is anticipated to begin following a counter appeal from Assange's legal team. According to a representative for the UK Home Office, Julian Assange's extradition to the US was authorized on June 17th, following deliberation by the Magistrates Court and the High Court. In order to appeal, Assange has 14 days. The spokesman claimed that Assange's extradition would not be repressive, unfair, or an abuse of the legal system, according to UK courts. The British spokesman stated that the court had not determined that Assange would not receive favorable treatment in the US or that extradition would violate his human rights, right to be fair trial, or freedom of expression. Assange has maintained that he is innocent of all these charges. That's all from the Europe news presented by Desi Europe, and I hope you have received all the information until now, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much.